Language definitely is one.
Sorry?
Language.
Well, language certainly is a problem. And because, we all speak English. But the English they speak in America, the English they speak in India, the English they speak in Japan and China are completely different languages. They're different intonations. If you speak to an American or a Chinese with the kind of slang English that you use among yourselves, when you're coming to lunch here, they won't know what you're talking about. There's a kind of slang we use, shorthand slang, a certain tonality we use, which we're very familiar with, which is very comfortable for us. We have to change that because we have to change how we communicate ourselves to a very different audience. Also, different countries have different ways of expressing themselves. The Italian will look at, say, the Qutb Minar and say, good, good, good. The British will say, not bad. The Americans say, fantastic. People express themselves in different ways because those are cultural constructs. And understanding those cultural constructs in the new situations that we enter, and we all enter new situations, those are the biggest challenges.
How did you get around those things?
By listening, watching, and adapting. Many people say that go to America, adopt American accents. It's easier to communicate for them, and I don't blame them. I resisted that for 15 years that I stayed in America. I didn't take on the American accent, very deliberately. But it was so easy to do that because people understand you, you're one of the people, and you mix in better, and it's more... you just become one of them, in a sense, and that's always an advantage. People like to feel that Apna Banda is one of us, not some stranger with a strange voice. But again, I chose to brand myself as a foreigner, therefore I did not need to speak as the American. But each one has to make their own decision, depending on the changing world, the changing future, the future shocks they're dealing with, the cataclysmic events they're dealing with, because all of us at some point change companies, change sometimes professions, sometimes change countries. All these are exciting to think about, but they're great challenges. I think we are pretty much...
One last question. Having traveled so far, conquered different new territories, does that change you? And what have you lost in the process?
Well, it changes you in the sense you're not wiser for it because you realize what you did right. You also know what you did wrong because all of us make mistakes. And I am no exception. And believe me, in my book, I've talked about my mistakes probably more than I've talked about my successes because hearing a catalogue of successes can be quite boring. But in fact, I've dealt with the human aspect of failure as well. I think
in fact, what I loved most about your book, Kabir, was that, as you said, it was not only about the successes. It was about your vulnerabilities. It was about the challenges that you surmounted. It was almost like a handbook for anybody who wants to navigate through a difficult life and a successful life. So we were supposed to see two show reels.
In summation, we're going to see two short videos, one after another. That will conclude our session. And then there'll be a later question-answer session with Shekhar and Carl and me and Malvika. And you can ask us any questions we want. But for now, we'll just leave you with the videos. Could you play the videos, please? तू वही है जिसने नगरवासियों को कर भुगतान के विरुद्ध भड़काया। इस युवा को इन अपराधों का दंड इसी समय मिलेगा, मरण दंड।
Any man brings me back those traitors, I will give him $1,000.
आग ऐसी लगा जिसमें खुद जलने का डर ना हो। इन्होंने मेरी क्रूरता देखी है, अब मेरी क्षमा देखेंगे।